welcome back to our channel. Today we have an educational video, one of many to come. Today's on contour, blush, and highlight. So those are three things that can really
bronzer too.
Oh, and bronzer. But those three things can make your face look completely different. You know, you control what your face looks like in a sense.
By makeup.
But yeah. So we tell you guys how to contour, bronze up your skin, make it warmer, how to apply blush, what brushes to use. And so yeah, we hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you want to see how to contour, bronze, highlight, and blush, just keep watching. Bye! Hey guys!
Welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to be doing an educational video.
First of many.
Yes, the first of many. This is going to be like a series that we're going to be doing. We got a really good response from our drugstore starter kit. So we thought maybe this would help people that don't know how to do anything. So we're pretty much
just getting started.
Just getting started, like trying to get your hands on makeup, figuring out what products are what you see something and you're like, what the heck is that? And we're going to tell you guys about all these products. What you're going to want to first start with is a fresh face. So have your foundation on or have your face powdered if you don't want a foundation. Powder your face. Make sure you have
at least a light powder.
Yeah, because when you have powder to powder, it will blend better. If you had like
a
cream to powder, it wouldn't work.
So if you would take your cream foundation, blend it in, and then start blending in your bronzer,
it would just stick.
It would stick
like
to that
glue.
area. So having just a light powder to set that foundation will really help.
Yep.
I'm going to go into the Pro Contour for Infallible, and I'm going to go into the highlight shade, the lighter shade, and I'm going to use that to dust away the extra powder that I have under my eyes.
Okay, so once you have your face prepped and ready, you're going to go into bronzer. The bronzer I'm going to be using is the Too Faced Milk Chocolate. This is really, really good for pale girls. And what one are you using?
I'm using the Physicians Formula. This is from the drugstore. Bronzer in light bronzer. So there's two shades I think at the store. There's the light one, which is this light one, and then the darker one's a little bit darker, obviously.
Yeah.
This smells awesome. If you're sensitive to smell, I wouldn't get this. I feel more of a sensitive skin, and this hasn't bothered me at all, so that's good.
And the point of bronzer is to warm up your face. When you put on foundation, it kind of cancels out all of your tanness, all of your like dimensions in your face. So what you're doing, you're going to have your flat base, and the bronzer is going to warm your face back up. So what you're going to do is you're going to put it around your cheek area, around your temple, on your forehead a little bit, and about around your chin if that's things you want to cancel out. What this does is it just helps bring the warmth back into your face.
And for this, I'm using more of like a paddled shape brush.
I am too. Mine is more.
Yeah.
They're both more paddled shape brushes.
But you could use a more fluffy brush like this one that's more
Mine is
flat.
more fluffy.
Yeah.
This one is from e.l.f. It's a really good brush for bronzer.
Yeah, this one's from Morphe. And then I just take the product and sideways in.
I just go straight in. Knock off the excess because you don't really want like a stripe.
And I sometimes just go on the back of my hand and just...
And then you're just going to start on your cheeks, just kind of warming them up.
So you kind of just want to go like where you're contouring, you're going to contour here. So you want like a diffuse like contour and then around the perimeters of your face.
If you're more tan, you just have to pick the right shade for you. Just make sure it's not too orangey, because if it's too orange, you're going to look like an Oompa Loompa. You're going to look like you have a helmet on, and you're just going to look silly. Don't be scared. If you're scared, just get a bronzer and use a very light hand, build it up, and it'll be okay. Like, you can do it. It's just start with a lighter color, make sure you blend it out, and yeah. Make sure you get your temple, and then after I've done my forehead a little bit, I like to take whatever product is left and put it on my chin, because I don't really like my chin jutting out and being like stark white.
I even sometimes put it on my nose, because when you're out in the sun, your nose gets a little bit tan too, so I just bring it a little bit.
Just wherever you feel like you're washed out almost, and you just want to bring the sun back onto your face. And even you can also do this if your foundation is a little too dark. You can use bronzer to help match your skin to your neck, like your face foundation to your neck. And I do that all the time because a lot of foundations are not as pale as what I am in the winter. So yeah, that is what you do with bronzer. And you want to do bronzer before you do contour, because if you do bronzer after, you're just going to blend your contour away and it's going to kind of be pointless. So you want to make sure to do your bronzer, or you can clean it up with a white powder, but it's much easier just to do your bronzer first. So then after that, you want to contour, and actually a lot of my favorite contour shades are from the drugstore. I love the NYX Highlight and Contour Pro Palette. This is a little bit on the pricier side, but if you watch at Ulta, you can get it on sale. And you get so many colors for, you can even use like any of these for a bronzer, and then you have your yellow shade, you have a highlight shade, you have your like cool toned like shades to wipe away bake. It's really good. I really like this palette. It's a steal. So what I have is, again, the Infallible Pro contour palette. It has a contour and a highlight. I'm in the shade 813 Light. So it has the contour shade and the highlight shade. So, and it's like labels it in the powder, and it also on the back has directions on how to use it with the brush they give you. I don't use the brush. I use this little tapered elf one. I like this tapered brush because it is a pointed edge, and when you use a point you can really create a sharper edge and then blend it the way that you want. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your brush, and like Rachel said, she has more of a tapered brush, if you want to hold it up closer so they can see. And mine is more of like a really fat fan brush. This brush is from e.l.f. It's like $8. I saw it at Walmart the other day, so you can now get it at Walmart, and which is really exciting. This is a great brush for beginners for contouring. So then once you're going to go into your contour powder, and I'm going to be going into this one right here. It's the coolest shade in this palette. And why we use cooler shades is because we're so pale that you're not going to have a shadow on your face that's orange. We're going to have a more ashy look, not gray, because some people like use really gray toned and it looks weird, but a more cooler toned brown. And if you have more olive, like yellow, warm, like you're gonna want to go with like any of these down here, like the shadow, they're darker. The shadow on your face isn't going to be, most people want to use a ashier shade even if they are more warm toned, but creating the shadow with a more warm tone is what you should do, because it's what your skin tone. Yeah, makes sense. So you're gonna just dip your brush in that powder and start. If you're a beginner, just start slowly, and you're gonna go right here in the contour of your cheeks. And if you need help figuring out where the contour of your cheekbones are, you can just make the fishy face like you used to do when you were little, and you can figure out where your lines are. So what you're going to do is that's where you're going to put the powder in. But you're not going to want to bring it farther than like the middle of your cheek, because if you bring it farther than the middle of the cheek, then it's going to look weird and it's going to be obvious that you have powder. Like so the way that I figure it out, I mean, you can of course use the fishy face method, but I look at this tuft of hair right above my ear and I use the space right below. As you can see, I'll show you my brush. I go from the middle of my ear to that tuft of hair in between. So you can go from your ear and just kind of like a curve, not like a C, because some people like contour like, but more of like just like a curved shape. So you're going to get your powder on your brush and you're going to pretty much just like draw a line. And then once you have pretty much like your powder down, like you can see where I put the powder, at least hopefully you can see where I put the powder. And so you're going to want to just start blending. You don't want to blend down, because if you blend down, you're going to defeat the purpose of contouring like at all. So you're going to, I just like to blend like this and then blend upwards. So I make a line with the powder and then I go back and forth slowly. So line and then just drag it up. I don't like a really sharp contour. That's why I like this brush so much, because it's like a very soft contour that you can blend out really well.
And sometimes I'll take whatever's left over on my brush and kind of, when you smile and you have the apples of the cheek, if you were to bring the contour a little bit and bring it up kind of towards your point of your nose, it can create more of like a juicier apple look.
So then after you have your cheeks done, nice and blended out, blending up, you're going to take your powder and you're going to run it around your forehead. This just really helps balance it out, because if you just did your cheeks, you'd look a little crazy.
So because I have a bigger forehead, I bring the contour into the center of the face as well. So if you have a smaller forehead, you just want to keep it on the perimeter, like out on the corners, but I bring it all the way in and actually bring it down pretty far.
So after I've blended everything out, and I have forgotten to powder my face before and contoured, and it's the worst thing ever. It is so bad. So you're just blending really good. Once you have everything blended, you can take the same brush that you like powdered your under eyes with, anything like that, and you're going to take a lighter shade. I like this to mix the white and the yellow ones right here. And I like to kind of like go under where I contour, just to kind of clean it up a little bit, just in case I got a little sloppy.
So I'm contouring my jawline right now, so you take it, this is better with a more pointed brush like this one. Take the product on the point, draw the line, and blend it out. And again, like Ashley said, this is going to take these areas and push them back, because I mean, you can see I have a shadow naturally here, but adding this creates more of a shadow. Just beware to blend very, very good when you are doing this step.
And make sure not to come over your like jawline, because if you do, then you're like, it's pointless, you know. And so now you have sharp cheeks.
And then I take a big brush and just blend my underneath my jawline. And then to create more of a sharper edge, I'm going to take my Coty Airspun powder and my Beauty Blender. This is totally unnecessary. It's just something that you can do to create a sharper contour. And I just take some of that powder and drag it. And then I just take that powder, let it sit there for a second, and just blend it away.
And that really helps create like a super sharp line. After contouring, you're going to go into blush.
I go into highlight.
So I go into blush because that's just how I do it. We do this differently. It's totally up to you. You can do either one first. You could mix all of these around and it would be fine. This just has more of like a cleaner, precise. Mine is more of like a precise highlight. Rachel's is more of a blended kind of thing. So I go into blush, and today I'm going to be using the Tarte Doll Face. Drugstore has a ton of good blushes. The Milani blushes are by far my favorite drugstore blush.
That's what I'm using today.
Yeah, but these blushes are hands down my favorite. They last the longest on my face, so that's what I'm going to be using today. With a Real Techniques, what is this, stippling brush.
So you could always go in, if you just have this contour palette, you can concentrate the highlight shade more and just put it on the top of your cheekbones. But I'm going to go into that Bam highlight and go into the Manazers Sisters palette, and I'm going to go into Mary Lou, which is this light shade down here, and I'm going to use the Real Techniques setting brush to highlight.
Oh, go ahead.
So highlighting, you want to highlight the top of your cheekbones. I like the tip of my nose to make it look more like a button nose, even though, I mean, I totally have a button nose. And I also do it right here in between, like at the bridge of my nose, because it seems to slim my nose down. We don't contour our nose, but that
I don't even highlight my nose
to make it a little bit better. And you can also bring whatever's left on your brush and highlight above your brow. I don't do that because I don't want my forehead any more highlighted than it needs to be. So basically, I'll highlight the top of my cheekbones and my nose and the Cupid's bow.
So what I'm doing with this blush is I'm going in and knocking off a lot. I'm wanting to get some product, but not a lot. And what I like to do is where your cheeks are, I like to dab first to get the most, like, where the color is, and then I like to swirl to blend.
Is there a highlight on this cheek? I can never see.
Yes.
Okay. Then I go in with, sorry,
no, you're fine,
with the tip of my finger and just on the tip of my nose.
And so I dab and then blend. And blush is something you want to build. You don't want to put a ton on there and not be able to blend it out, because blush can be really hard to blend, and then you blend it out and your whole face is pink and you're like, oh my god, because I've totally done that before. So you just want to like get your brush loaded and then knock off the excess and just dab where you want it and then blend. I like a lot of blush, but there are some girls that go so over the top with blush. Like, it's almost like they contour with blush.
I'm going into the blush from Milani in Romantic Rose. This is a really pretty blush from the drugstore, and I'm going to mix it with, for a more glowy look, I'm mixing it with Cindy Lou Manizer from the palette. So this pink one in here, they're basically the same shade. But I like mixing them because it gives you more pigmentation in it. Like, it won't be such a big glow. And I use a angled brush for this. It's fluffy and it's angled, but I like it because it gets in between my contour and my highlight, but it just blends them together seamlessly. So I like putting my blush on after highlight, so then it blends everything. So our camera turned off, so I was putting on blush, and of course I mixed the two together, knocked off the excess, and then blended that on.
Yes, and then I put on highlight, and I use the e.l.f. Baked Blush in Pinktastic. This is a really good drugstore highlight. I don't use this for blush because it's like a highlight, even though it's called a blush. But it's really pretty. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I put it on the tops of my cheekbones with the tapered highlighting brush from Sigma. I feel like this is almost too big, and Rachel's brush does a better job. Her Real Techniques brush, I feel like it does a better job. It's the setting brush because it's so much tinier, but this one works good too because it's like tapered and it fits perfectly. So then after I put my highlight on, I go in kind of like what Rachel does. It's just kind of like switched around, and I mix mine together with my blush brush just because I don't want it to be like a zebra stripe. I want it to be more like a soft highlight, like almost glow, but I still want it to be like bam, like still there, but I want it to be blended. So that's what I do with this brush. It just makes it a really nice glow. I love the way this highlight looks. It's almost more of like a little bit more of a natural highlight, which is really nice, but you can pack it on to give it like an extra punch, or you could wet your brush and also make it way more intense, but I don't.
So the last thing you want to do, we just put a bunch of powder on our face. So to make that go away, you can of course use MAC Fix Plus, which is like expensive, or you can use the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water, which is also expensive. Or you can use the e.l.f.
Mineral Mist,
or the e.l.f. Makeup Mist and Set. This really doesn't set your makeup, but it's
pretty much the same
idea. It's like a drink of water.
This
is a drink of water for your face.
Yeah.
And you just let that dry on your face, and it intensifies your highlight even more, which I love that. But you also takes away that powdery look on your face.
And it meshes your powders together.
It makes it melt in with your foundation and with your skin. So yeah, that completes this video. We hope you guys learned something. Please ask questions in the comment bar on Facebook, on YouTube, anywhere if you guys have any questions. We really enjoyed doing these educational videos. Give us some ideas about what you guys would like to see.
What you want to learn about,
yeah.
and we'll definitely do them for you guys.
And we'll see you in the next one. Bye!